everyone, welcome to Awkward Author. My name is Alyssa Grasso, and this is my weekly vlog and podcast about my sometimes awkward, always awesome author life. Relatively quiet week here, but I do have my author income report for you for the month of March, because we are now into a new month, April. And so I'll give you my March author income report in just a little bit, and just update you on what's going on as far as writing and editing and all that good stuff, and a sleeping dog here. Well, going to be sleeping dog. He was moving from one napping spot to another, so that is the noise and visuals if you're watching the video going on behind me here. Quiet week this week. We were kind of talking about, like, there hasn't been too many here anyway, too many new developments as far as, the pandemic, coronavirus stuff. I mean, we're kind of just in sort of a holding pattern, I guess. But we were talking, my boyfriend and I were talking about how, like, it really hasn't had that dramatic an impact on our lives as far as, like, all these different, restrictions and changes. And I know some people are, it's like huge stuff going on as far as, the adjustments they've had to make, the changes they've had to make in their life, people working from home, people out of work, kids home from school, all this stuff that's like, people are really, struggling, people that are, used to maybe going out a lot and being, extroverts. It's kind of tough to be like sheltering in place and stuck at home. And, my boyfriend and I were talking about it. It's like, obviously it's a horrible thing, and, we wouldn't, we don't want this at all. Nobody does. And, financially, it definitely has had an impact on us, as pretty much I think everyone is seeing that as well. But in general, our lives have not really been too affected by it, I guess I will say. I mean, if anything, I guess maybe the biggest impact on, my life has been I actually have more time to work on books and things, because I'm not doing my other business, my day job business at the moment, although I do still have money coming in from that, which right now is nice. At some point, obviously, I'm going to hit a point where I don't have the money coming in anymore, and then things might get interesting. But no, it'll be okay. I'm not really that worried about it. So yeah, it's weird. Like, I mean, we've changed our grocery shopping routine to the point where we're just going every 2 weeks, and we're just doing like a grocery pickup as opposed to like going into the store and picking out our groceries ourselves. So yeah, that changed, but like that's not a huge change. And I don't know, we don't really, we're not like super social people going out, partying, going out, doing all these wild things. I mean, yeah, now that the weather's nice, it would be nice to be able to go to a park or something, but we live in the country, so we have no end of like walking opportunities, right here, where we live, that, aren't going to bring us into contact with other, humans. So, really, like, it's not that big of a deal as far as all this stuff going on. I know some people are really struggling, and I do feel bad. And obviously there's, a lot of horrible stuff going on, people getting sick and everything. That's no good. But as far as the changes we've had to make in our lives because of this, it hasn't really been too bad for us. So I am grateful for that. And honestly, I'm grateful for the extra time to, be able to work on my books right now. So I've been moving along with my editing for these books. This is a series of 4 books. I've got the first book and the second book completed with a first round of edits. And so, yeah, with the second book, I had a little bit more work with it. There were actually 3 whole chapters that I rewrote, and by rewrote, I meant like I deleted those 3 chapters and wrote 3 fresh chapters, because I had made changes to the book and changes to the series overall that those chapters just, there was so much stuff that needed to get changed in them. I'm like, it'd be easier to just scrap these and start over, and I think I could do a better job and make sure that it matches up with all the changes that I've made later on through the series, so that it all works. So yeah, so I did that. I completed that end of last week, I guess, and now I've begun work, first round of edits on the third book in the series. And to to just kind of explain my editing plan for these books. So I'm just going through right now and just, editing the documents on the screen. They're still in Scrivener. Just going through making, minor or sometimes not so minor in the case of like 3 rewritten chapters, but, making sure that, trying to make sure that, the plot that goes through the 4 books of the series makes sense, and of course the plot in the individual novel makes sense, and that everything matches up, and that I'm not saying something happened 3 years ago here and 5 years ago here and that sort of thing. So those kind of changes, and of course any like typos and grammatical things and stuff that there's plenty of those that I'm fixing now too. And then what I will do is once I get through all 4 books, then I plan to actually print out each manuscript, which I know, maybe that's not, I'm killing trees. I think the paper I use is part recycled anyway, but it's maybe a crazy extra step to print out, hundreds of pages of paper, but for me, I know this does help me a lot, is to have like the printed thing in front of me. Obviously I'll sit there with a red pen, I'll probably read it out loud as I'm going through it, because I do find that helps me to, when you're reading, you can hear when things aren't working more. It sounds strange, I guess, because you should be able to see it on the page, but I don't know, reading it out loud does force you to go a little bit slower, and then you just hear things that sound awkward, or, just have that clunky kind of sound to it, I guess. I don't know. So that'll be the next step, is to go through all 4 books doing it that way, and then, transfer those changes to the document on the computer. And then at that point, I'll probably be looking into, sending off to an editor. So I haven't actually booked an editor, which I should do, but I want to be a little bit further along, because I'm not sure how long it's going to take me. I mean, the more thorough printed out edit can take a little bit of time. It'll take a little bit longer, certainly, I think, than reading on the screen and just kind of making quick changes, or in some cases not so quick changes. So I'm now into, editing the 3rd book. Not sure that I'm at the halfway point. I don't think I'd say that, but I am getting through that one. I don't want to jinx myself. I'm thinking there's not going to be as many major changes in that, because I think I already made the changes as I was writing it, because I know I went back and fixed a lot of things, but I'm not positive, so I don't want to jinx myself. But I think it should go pretty smoothly, and shouldn't take too long. So it's possible by the time I talk to you next week, I'm moved on to the printed out pages, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'll be that far along or not. So that's pretty much what I've been working on. That's a pretty big project, a pretty big undertaking, but progress is being made. So that is good. And we'll just see how it goes. Just a quick update from when I talked to you last week. I had talked about, I got on my soapbox and was ranting about book piracy and the Internet Archive, and at the time my books were on there, and I had contacted them to have them removed. And so as an update, those books have been removed, so I do not have any books being, offered illegally to be borrowed through the Internet Archive at this point. So that's good. I'm glad I was able to, get that done. And obviously, I want people to read my books. Please, borrow them from the library. If your library doesn't have them, ask the library to get them. And of course, if you want free books, I have a free book available, through my website. You can go to my website, and, if you give me your email address, I will send you a copy of my novel In the Bag. So you can have that for free. And my other books aren't really that expensively priced either. In fact, one of the things that I did, pandemic related, I guess, is I don't really have a lot of feel-good books. Like, my books tend to be a little bit darker. But I do have one book that's, a happy book, a feel-good book. So I marked that down to 99 cents for the ebook, and that is my book, Unnamed Roads, which it's a young adult novel, coming-of-age story. a lighter read, but, generally a happy book. And so if you're looking for, happy, feel-good fiction, that is priced at 99 cents right now. And, at some point I'll probably put the price back up. But for now, it's available for 99 cents. And a few people have, taken me up on that offer and, bought that book at the discounted price. And that is a great segue to talk about the books that I have sold in the month of March. So March seemed like a really long month for a lot of people because, we were just, getting bombarded with news and dire things, and every time you turned around something crazy was happening, and it was just, it was a crazy, crazy month, March of 2020. Now, what I will say is it was not a big book sales month for me. Most of what I sell is my nonfiction, which I don't think was stuff that people were, buying in March. Well, some of them were buying. I mean, I still sold books, but I think I sold a little bit less than I normally do, just based on my numbers. But I'll give that to you. So once again, in March of 2020, nearly all and almost entirely all of my book sales were through Amazon. And that is divided between ebook and paperback. And actually, I'm kind of surprised by this. It's almost an exact, half ebook, half paperback kind of sales month, which I don't know. It's not that it's half ebook. The income is half ebook, half paperback. Do I make about the same? I make more income. I think a little bit more income from the paperbacks because some of the ebooks are pretty cheap. But anyway, so on Amazon in the month of March, my ebook sales brought in $36, and I'm looking at my scribble here. I think that's a 3. $36.43. Mostly U.S. I had some Europe and Australian sales in there as well. So $36.43 for ebooks. And then my paperback sales for the month of March on Amazon were $32.58. So not quite an exact split, but pretty much half and half. So from Amazon, I made $69.01 for March 2020. So a little bit lower than where I've been. And then because of my discounted, my 99 cents book, Unnamed Roads, I actually sold a book on Kobo. I haven't sold a book on Kobo in I don't know how long. Like, I never sell books on Kobo. Well, somebody bought Unnamed Roads on Kobo, so I made 45 cents from that sale. I won't spend it all in one place, although I probably will. Anyway, my total earnings then for the month of March, for all platforms, because the only other place I sold beside Amazon was Kobo, was $69.46. So, like I said, a little bit lower than normal, not a huge difference. I think I'm right around like the $75, $80 range normally, I feel like, somewhere in there. So not a big difference really, honestly. But yeah, that was my total book income for March. Although I did price that book down to 99 cents, I did send out my newsletter finally. This month it's supposed to be a monthly newsletter. I don't think I've sent one out since December. So yeah, I finally sent one out. It was really the end of March that I sent that out. It was really for April, I guess. So, that was if you want to say any kind of promotion that I did, that would be the only promotion I did. I haven't, done any paid advertising or anything. So that's, that's what's going on as far as income for me. So it is a reliable, steady, passive income, even if it isn't a very big passive income. And so, yeah, obviously, well, not obviously, but most of my income, as I said, is from the nonfiction books, which sell for me without doing any promotion. As far as fiction goes, I definitely have to, if I want to sell more books, I have to figure out a way to promote it, and which is why, again, I've said this all the time, why I'm working on a series, because I think there's more opportunities to profitably promote a series of books. That's what I do believe. And I know most of you listen to Paul Teague's podcast, but if you don't, or if you're not familiar with it, you should definitely check out his most recent podcast episode. That would be for, I don't know, date, it was April 4th, maybe, early April, but he did a special podcast about, I don't know the exact title, I'm trying to go for the top of my head, but it was on making, having his first 5-figure month as an author. I had to do the math, the counting there in my head. 5 figures. Which, obviously there are authors that are making a lot more than that, but I've been following along with, Paul's journey as an author, this was exciting to hear because I feel like it gives us hope. It gives me hope, and he goes into great detail about how he was able to do that, what he was selling, how he was marketing it, and he has a whole, it's a podcast, that you can listen to, but there's also a whole, blog post where he goes into a lot more detail about it and gives them great information, it's not stuff that I can even apply right now because of how many books, he has and how he was doing it, but definitely something to keep in mind for the future, and very interesting, very enlightening, very encouraging. So please do check that out, especially if you are an author who's trying to figure out how to make a living, from your books. And Paul has, he's been working hard at this for a long time, and so it's great to see him having this success. And anyway, a very interesting, very enjoyable podcast to listen to and blog post to read, so definitely check that out. But so that's all that's going on here. I'm keeping on, and like I said, it hasn't had a huge impact on me, all this stuff, all these changes that we're going through. Going forward, I don't know how that's going to look, but right now, things are, okay here, and I'm just moving along with what I've been working on, and writing my books and editing my books really right now, and soon I'm gonna have a series out there, and it's gonna be a crazy time to be releasing a book series, but I'll try to figure out a way to do it and to make some money while I do it. But I will, of course, keep you up to date on all of that. So thank you for tuning in and listening and watching, and I will be back again next week with a new episode of Awkward Author. If you would like to know more about me and my books, you can visit my website, and that is alyssagrosso.com, ALISSAGROSSO.com, or you can check out awkwardauthor.com. And I hope you guys all have a great week, and I will talk to you and see you again next week. Bye for now.